So we're going to customize our code a little bit now. So it's going to still do the same thing. So it's going to check if a particular coin is within 3% of the pivot and the 200 simple moving average. Okay, so I'm going to check if the price is in 3% of that. And as I say, if it is, you can then act on that depending on what you want to do with the data. Okay. I should just say as well, if you're not massively familiar with Python, have a look at my video, so youtube.com/computer science tutorials, and there's some like beginners coding there. So some of the code I'm showing you has been generated with AI, but you need to have an understanding of Python in order to customize it and make it do what you want. So here's the code we're going to do, and the customization here is we are going to go through all of the coins in Binance, not just Bitcoin, okay? And we're going to be able to choose what time frame we use, okay? And we're going to be able to choose the amount of volume in 24 hours that coin has. Actually, I need to change that, volume in 24 hours, okay? So just to kind of explain how it works, same libraries as before. Same Binance API, okay. Slightly differently, we've got this now. Now, rather than just loading one coin, i.e. Bitcoin, this loads everything, okay, so all coins in Binance. Now, if you did this, I'm not going to recommend it, but you'd be able to see all of the data that goes into the program. And I should just say there's about 88,000 lines of data. Okay, so it's bringing in a lot of data. And what we're doing here is we have set up a loop to iterate through all of the data, and we're saying only look at data that has that as the ending point or the trading pair, so /USDT. Okay, so you could change that to BTC, okay, if you wanted to. We're saying here this little 5 means it's the last 5 characters of that symbol. So if you did BTC, for example, you'd have to reduce that by 1 and put 4 because there's 4 characters in /BTC. But we're only looking at USDT pairs only. Okay, so we've got some code here, and what this does, this gets the volume for us. Okay, because we've got up here, we wanted only coins with a certain amount of volume. Okay, so say 50 million traded within 24 hours. Okay, in other words, it eliminates lower volume coins. Okay, coins that might be too volatile or not have enough liquidity for you. So we've got that with our code here, and then I've got a conditional here saying is the volume above 0. So in other words, is the coin traded? Okay, so if it's not traded, it's going to ignore it. If it is traded, if it's got a volume above 0, it will run the program. Then we've got another conditional which says is the volume that you typed in, okay, volume amount, is that greater than, is the volume that is traded is greater than the volume you typed in. So in other words, if you type in 50 million, is the volume greater than 50 million? Okay, if it is, it will then go into our program. Okay, if it's not, then it will discard it. Okay, because we don't want, for example, coins trading under 50 million in 24 hours. So what we've got here are pretty much the same code that we had previously from the last program. We were just calculating the Bitcoin chart. So for example, we're saying if we've got 200 days of data, okay, then we're going to run the same thing as before. We're going to calculate the price of the 200-day SMA, calculate the Fibonacci pivot, and then run our calculation that if the price is within 3% of the 200-day SMA and the Fibonacci pivot, then it's going to give us that data. If it's not, it's just not going to give us the data. And as before, we could change the percentage by changing that value there. Okay, so I've said 3 at the moment, but you could change to 1 or 2 depending on how accurate you want it to be. So I'm just trying to expand the window there. It's not particularly forgiving. There we go. So you can just see the end of that line. Okay, so that's what it does. Let's go ahead and run it. And much like before, it will connect into the Binance API to get the data, and then it'll ask us what we want to do. Okay, so let's say again, well, let's go for an hour time frame this time. Okay, 1 hour, and we'll say 50 million as we mentioned. So I think that's 50 million. And what it will now do is it will start iterating through all the coins that are 50 million volume in 24 hours and above. And if the price is within 3% of the 200-day SMA, it will give us this data. Okay, so for example, XRP, okay, so that's not giving us the data there. BNB, for example. So if I can I find BNB here? Is it that one? Nope. I got it somewhere. I think I've got it somewhere. Here we go. BNB. Okay, so let's just compare that with the data that the program churned out. If we can get there, BNB. So 200-day SMA on the 1 hour chart, 226.57. Oh, hang on the 1 hour chart here. Let's change that. 226.57. Yep, just there. We can see that's the 200-day SMA. And we'll head back to the shell. Fibonacci pivot 22680. So again, my calculation on mine is slightly different, 22680, so close-ish. And then also the price. I'll just check. 22750. Yeah, so that's the price at the moment. Okay, so we can see there it said that for BNB, both the pivot and the 200-day SMA are within 3% of the current price. Okay, so we might look at that and think, okay, that's maybe showing some strength, and we may want to do something with that. Okay, so you can see on the output, it's gone through all the coins which have got $50 million or more volume in the last 24 hours. It's still churning away there. The ones that have, or the ones that are within 3%, it will give you the data. The ones that are not within 3%, for example, ADA, it will not give you the data. Okay, so this is a kind of quicker way of crunching the data and just seeing fairly immediately what coins are close to the pivot and the 200-day SMA.